reoccurrence. She said, we reduced reoccurrence of crime by more than 50%. And the dumbasses in the chat immediately, no, you didn't. No, you didn't. No, boo boo. No, you didn't. Like, holy shit, man. How are we meant to take the right wing seriously when this is like, these are the protests we get? You either storm the Capitol and then walk around taking selfies like dumbasses while like a bunch of different cells actually try to do the damn thing, but luckily fail. Or you go to events like this and get mad at a brown woman for existing. You know, to the contrary of her overwhelming approval in her district. And that she's actually fixing the things that they claim to care about. Alien, gotta go. Alien. This stupid bitch here, by the way, earlier was yelling, there are only 2 genders! Ah!
Very classy. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
The Nobody cares. Nobody asked. Many people are like, oh my god, how could she be disrespecting her constituency like that? These aren't her constituency. And even if they are the very loud, in this instance, minority. Because her polling is impeccable. AOC is nowhere close to losing her race or her seat. Also, her approval ratings have always been pretty good. Also, everybody else in here is getting shit on by everybody else in here. iProgressive put out a good tweet thread on it too. I wrote, imagine thinking she looks bad here. She's literally vibing. You keep trying to vote her out, but it doesn't work. It's funny, usually when the right says AOC has got to go, they mean the other one. Guess they turned a leaf. Which, frankly, I thought was a really good tweet. So here's the thread that iProgressive put out. This is, judging by the sign saying to vote for a Republican opponent and the watermark for Freedom News, I can only assume this is a conservative protest to make her look bad. And it's happened before, too. Like, ostensibly leftist, but just right-wing people pretending to be leftist showed up at one of her speaking things, like one of her town halls or whatever, way back when, caused a ruckus. Anyone claiming she's dancing off the concerns of the real left here are not serious people, and these people are not that. Yes, AOC should have taken these protesters very seriously. All right. Oh, yeah, this is what I was just talking about.
You can have a house, but if you're not
oh, no,
gay,
this is
you
good.
have to live on the street.
He said, if you're, this guy right here, if you're gay, you can have a house, but if you're not gay, you have to live on the street.
Is that how it goes?
Isn't that how it goes?
You're talking nonsense. You're not answering questions.
So if I don't have
True.
butt sex, I can't have a place to live.
Yes, actually. I'm glad you finally understood how society works. If you're not willing to get dicked down, you do not deserve housing. Many people this is the official Biden administration position. And frankly, I'm for it because something's got to change in this world. Clearly, not having butt sex as rampantly as we should has not rendered a good world. It's literally on fire. It's smoky as hell out in Seattle right now. And usually Seattle, for the major cities, has incredible, impeccable air quality because of the greenery surrounding it. Maybe if people were fucking each other's asses more, we'd be able to make some changes.
But if I do, I'm good. Is that how it goes?
Is that how it goes?
That's what you're saying, right?
Yeah, that's what she's saying, man. Listen, that's why I voted for AOC. I illegally voted. I crossed state lines. Went literally across the country from Seattle, Washington to New York's 14th Congressional District, and I illegally voted twice for AOC, specifically for her butt sex position. I'm just saying, happy with my vote, I think, on that. I voted my conscience. Feels good to actually be able to do that, and we're chilling. There's more. I wonder why I didn't choose this clip to go viral. Almost like the protest shows AOC acting cool and collected in the face of a bunch of unhinged homophobic chuds. Stop falling for this extremely obvious agitprop. Got another clip.
Respectfully,
Oh,
ma'am, you're saying ask us why. Y'all been talking for 20 minutes, okay? We know why. We know why you're mad. Let's talk about it.
it's because they are... the reason why they're mad is like for literally no legitimate concern. This dude was talking about butt sex because that's like the preeminent thing on everybody's mind in New York's 14th congressional district. Like, come on, man. This other lady is like, there are only 2 genders, which I think we'll get to at some point. It might be in this clip. These are the issues plaguing society that need to be rectified. These people are real serious actors. There are only 2 fucking genders. Okay, dude. You want to name them? Man and woman? Those don't exist, man. I've never heard of that. What's a man? What is a woman? I've not yet received a concrete and holistic definition for a woman or a man that doesn't include things that these people would not consider to be women or men. I'm sorry, you're gonna have to make a better argument than that. Getting mad and screaming at your elected official, ostensibly elected official. This bitch probably don't even live in fucking New York. Like, I'm gonna have to get a better argument. Screaming, you know, shouting, getting triggered really isn't the argument you think it is. And frankly, the intellectual laziness is disrespectful. So I don't know what that's about. I'm arrested. I think he's making fun of AOC. Oh no, yeah, that's from that clip where AOC was protesting and the cops were leading her away from wherever she was protesting. She was protesting with a bunch of people. And like the right-wing narrative was like, oh my god, she's claiming she's arrested and she's got her hands behind her back like she's got handcuffs, but then she waves at people. If she's trying to pretend she's got handcuffs on, why would she be waving at people? The cops are leading her away. I don't know how much interactions with the police these people have had, but I do not think it's outside of the realm of possibility that if you're interacting with a police officer and they're trying to move you from a location, but you're not being taken in and booked necessarily, you know, they just put your hands behind your back and lead you on your way. They don't really have to fasten them if you're not like being fully detained, I guess.
Okay.
So I don't know how somebody turns the lights off, which is like an inherently threatening thing to do. It might be like a funny meme, like, oh, haha, funny, we turn the lights off and now nobody can see you at your town hall. But she's an elected official that has gotten numerous credible death threats and had numerous credible death threats on January 6th, as far as I'm aware. Either that or like there were rumblings of that. And she literally feared for her life, as did many other elected officials, when the Trumpist right-wing Republicans stormed the Capitol. So turning the lights off here is a security risk. It's not a good idea, especially with these fucking lunatics in the audience. So, you know, security does have to, and I believe that's either her bodyguard or like some security or whatever, literally has to lead her to a safer location until they get the lights back on. That is protocol.
Respectfully.
Yeah, and then they wave her back in. All right, and then at the end of the video, looks like she's supported by the overwhelming majority of her constituents, shockingly.
We brought in psychologists, all of them. You know what we found? Here's what we found.
What did she say?
All of them. You know
Bring in the what?
what we found?
What? Is she saying the F slur? I don't think she actually is. I'm joking.
We brought in psychologists.
Oh, so she said we brought in psychologists, and then the heckler is saying bring in the hacks or the facts? Because like hacks would be like, oh, this psychologist, like they're a hack, they're a quack, they're a whatever. You know, downplaying the idea of bringing psychologists to deal with criminal psychology in a conversation about criminal justice reform and reducing the rates of recidivism and crime in your district.
All of them. You know what we found? Here's what we found.
So her dumbass sign says AOC is an obvious criminal. What does that mean? What is the charge here? For enjoying a meal? A delicious Chinese meal? What is the charge? Really? Like an obvious criminal. What did she do? Is it because she's brown? Like, is it literally just because she's a Latina? Is that it? Imagine getting triggered over somebody's skin color, man. That is crazy to me. Oh my god! You're an obvious criminal. The crime? Being born to parents that aren't white. Lock her up!
Reoccurrence of crime by more than 50%.
So, like, she said... What is the term she used? She's talking about recidivism, I think.
We reduced reoccurrence of by more than 50%.
She said, we reduced reoccurrence of crime by more than 50%. And the dumbasses in the chat immediately, no, you didn't. No, you didn't. No, boo boo. No, you didn't. Like, holy shit, man. How are we meant to take the right wing seriously when this is like, these are the protests we get? You either storm the Capitol and then walk around taking selfies like dumbasses while like a bunch of different cells actually try to do the damn thing, but luckily fail. Or you go to events like this and get mad at a brown woman for existing. You know, to the contrary of her overwhelming approval in her dish. And that she's actually fixing the things that they claim to care about. Just, you know, not the way that they would like to. Because for the right wing, they don't want, like, criminal psychologists or, like, psychologists in general to be working with criminals to stop recidivism, to stop them from reoffending. They don't want any kind of, like, social safety net program to make it so that people are not economically insecure to the point where they even think of committing crimes. They don't want to do any of that. What they want to do, the conservatives want to jail and kill all criminals. That's it. Who's a criminal? Well, literally anybody they don't like. Clearly. Because if AOC is an obvious criminal, what did she do? What is the charge? What is alleged? Literally anybody they disagree with is a criminal, and they want to lock them up, throw away the key, or kill them. Because a lot of these are pro-death penalty as well. Don't get it twisted. And also, they don't want felons and convicted criminals to be able to vote. Because there's some shit going on in Florida where Ron DeSantis has allegedly entrapped 20 people who, many of which went through the process of obtaining a voter ID, were told by the state that they were allowed to vote and then voted, and now are getting arrested for that, the negligence of the state, for so-called voter fraud, so that Ron DeSantis would be like, oh my God, we stopped 20 cases of voter fraud happening in Florida. You know, we're so tough on crime here. We're going to make sure we have the safest elections. Blah. The only danger to the security of our elections are literally Republicans. They literally stormed the Capitol to try to overturn a democratic election. Like, you have to be joking me. They support voter suppression and gerrymandering in a variety of states. Literally, the only reason Republicans can continue to win is because of the Electoral College and the voter suppression and gerrymandering that they've been able to achieve, which is literally just a participation trophy for their horribly unpopular policies. And it's a wash, man. It's sad. These people got nothing. They've got no policy, nothing that people actually care about, so they lead their little lemmings around by fear, and luckily they don't need a majority of the population to vote for them. They just need a tiny little minority because they don't care about democracy. They don't like democracy. They don't care. They don't want your vote to matter. They want their vote to matter. That's it. If you disagree with them, fuck off. That's all it is. It's the sign of intellectual weakness. It's the sign of cowardice. And frankly, I'm sick of it. Oh my God. How dare AOC? How dare she be so rude to her constituency? Meanwhile, a standing ovation from her constituency. I can't hear a damn thing. And this is why you gotta vote, frankly. Listen, the primary reason you should vote is obviously because voting is the bare minimum civic engagement, and having the least bad option in there, which is the Democrats, is preferable to the Republicans, obviously. However, the primary reason past that to vote is to make Republicans mad. To get people to get really fucking angry in the audience, like this dumbass, about the fact that leftist and left-wing policies make people's lives better. Because that's what it is. Republicans don't want people's lives to get better. Republicans want people's lives to get worse. They just want their lives to get better. They want their lives to get better at the expense of the people whose lives they want to get worse, which are usually just, you know, minorities. Black and brown people, indigenous people, queer people, left-leaning people, Democrats even. That's it. So vote specifically to make Republicans mad. Vote for the best option in the Democratic primary, and hopefully they win, and then you can vote for them in the general. And vote for the least bad option in the general, which is always going to be a Democrat. Always. And then outside of that, you gotta be organizing. You gotta be building dual power. You gotta be talking to your neighbors, trying to form small community networks with people that you trust, just in case the state fails, which it often does, usually because of the inadequacy of the state. And you got to do harm reduction and a diversity of tactics, not only direct on the ground organizing, but also electoral organizing. And if you don't want to like canvass or phone bank or campaign for a politician, just fucking vote. That's it. Bare minimum civic engagement. If it's not super difficult, if you don't have like 2 jobs you gotta work and a kid, you know, and you're taking care of your grandma, you just don't got the time. Luckily, a lot of places are making voting by mail easier, so you should look into that if that's an option available to you. But if it's not, I can understand not being able to do it. But for those that it is easier to vote for, there's no excuse not to, frankly. Like, there's literally no excuse. If nothing else, to piss these people off. Because, let me just say it, Democrats being in power makes Republicans mad. And when Republicans get mad, they get funny as fuck. It's entertainment. It's content. It is worth it, even if it hurts to vote for the Democrat you're voting for. Talking to neighbors is easier said than done. Yeah, that's fair. But, like, it's you gotta try. You know, if you're taking the garbage out one day and your neighbor's taking the garbage out, just say hello. Wave, say hey. That's it. That's all you gotta do. Now you're in. Now you're essentially brothers, and you can chill on their couch if you're ever in a hard way. But for real, though, like, that's all you have to do. Just wave and say hi. And if you have the opportunity to say more, you know, small talk. It sucks. A lot of people don't like it. I don't like it. But literally, like, great weather we're having. Like, if you notice that your neighbor, like, has a certain hobby, maybe talk about that. Yeah, there's some things you can do. Come on. Also, social media. You could potentially, now you got to be careful, obviously, but you could potentially find people in your area on social media. Bo, the Fifth Column, has a lot of good videos on starting up your own little community networks that we've talked about on the stream before. Great weather we're having, breathes in forest fire smoke, feels bad, man. But unironically, you could do that too, right? Like, you bump into your neighbor in the apartment hallway or whatever, and it's like, yo, this shit's nuts, isn't all this smoke? It's like Silent Hill out there. Like, the fuck? Did we lose our graphics card? Did our 4090, like, die, and now we're on, like, a 1050 Ti? Now the render distance is completely reduced. Isn't that nuts? That climate change sure is a bitch, isn't it? And you go from there. And if they're a right-winger, they'll be like, that ain't real. And then you know who to avoid. Unless you're a masochist and you want to try to turn them, which is possible, but you got to be good at that. Let me see. Aha! Here it is. There's a whole ass community networking Bo of the Fifth Column playlist that I'll link in the description if this becomes a YouTube video, because it could. Excuse me. It's very good. Friend of the show, Bo of the Fifth Column. Very cool guy. There's a whole lot of stuff here. Yeah, I've seen a lot of these, obviously. A lot of these, like, touch on it. So let's talk about finding your community network. Talk about civic engagement. There's a lot of stuff, you know, I talk about as well. Talk about shy community. A lot of you shy, ooh-woo, soft boys and girls and MBs out there. Talk about shy community networking. See, it's literally strategic targeted marketing for you softies out there. Talk about community networking 101, community networks. There's a whole bunch of stuff. It's very helpful, and it makes you feel better. Contrary to popular belief, you know, I got some antisocial tendencies. I got autism, ADHD. You know, luckily I've been able to overcome a lot of that, and you can too. But human beings like to be social. What? They like to be social. People like it when you express an interest in them, right? I mean, you do. Talk to your neighbors. Be like, yo, I saw you were hauling golf clubs into your car the other day. Yeah, you want to golf with? That's not a conversation you should have, frankly. Golf is a satanic sport for demonic, let's just say billionaires. But, like, say, like, your neighbor got a dog. Be like, yo, oh my God, your dog's so pretty. What's their name? If you have a dog, too, maybe we could go to the dog park one day, huh? I don't know. I'm just shooting blanks out here, I guess. Generally speaking, I just like to say hi to everybody. I feel like it's weird because I'm in Seattle and it's like a busier city. Where I used to live, it's very, very like small. I had to drive like 30 minutes to get anywhere. So people are saying hi all the time, even if they don't know you. Hey, how you doing? That's it. So I've kind of like carried that with me. I smile at literally everybody I pass. Unless I'm like on a really busy street. Like if I'm walking through like a trail or a park or whatever, do the nod or whatever, smile at people. People like it. People generally seem to be receptive to it. And if not, no harm, no foul. And like if I'm really feeling saucy, I'll be like, hey, how you doing? And I have no intention of continuing the conversation, right? They could say, good, good, and then just keep walking. Or they could say, good, how are you? And I'm like, fine, have a good day. I'm doing great, have a good day. And then you keep on walking, you keep on chugging. It's very simple. And if something more comes from that, like, oh, I like your shirt or some nonsense. Oh, I've seen you on Twitter. And then you run away screaming and call the police. I'm just kidding. You know, it's chill. And then you got, maybe there's some opportunity there. Maybe you got some stuff to talk. I don't know. Because, so like, what's cool about that too is that like there's literally no expectation of prolonged social engagement in that kind of a setting of like walking through a park. Right? Like most people, if they're in a park, unless they're like sitting like in the grass or whatever, if like you're just walking by, like you're on a walk for exercise or like to clear your mind or whatever, so a lot of people are doing that too. If you pass by them, there's no expectation that you talk forever. So if you say, hey, how you doing? You're going to keep walking. So you don't really have to worry about what you're going to say next. It's pretty chill. I don't know. I'm just trying to help you out. I don't know how we got here, Stunlock, for sure. AOC making a dancey dance. It's good.